Shalom, family. I'm your brother Mark.
Shalom, it's your brother Lamawat.
Shalom, family. Today, we're going to go into getting back to these Bible lessons so that you getting your knowledge up. First and foremost, we want to go and give honor and praise to the Most High, Ahaya Ba'Shem Yeshai Kodash Wat. That's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Today, you have to learn Bible timeline. You have to learn the times of the empires that were ruling the world according to history and according to truth, so that when you studying that you know what time frame you're in. So today, family, if it be the will of the Most High, we want to get these four beasts of Daniel, the fourth beast of Daniel, to rule the world before Christ is coming. So family, if we could open it up with 2 Kings chapter 24. Let's get 2 Kings chapter 24 from the top.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 24 and verse 1. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, so like a king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him, and the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it.
So Nebuchadnezzar, he's ruling the world. Make sure you write these dates down. So you have Nebuchadnezzar in his empire, which goes back to about 600 BC before Christ, right? Going into the Persian Empire about 539 BC. Stay with us. Keep it going.
Which spake by his servants, the prophets. Surely at the commandment of the Lord came this upon Judah, to remove them out of his sight, for the sins of Manasseh, according to all that he did, and also for the innocent blood that he shed. For he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, which the Lord would not pardon. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Jehoiakim slept with his fathers, and Jehoiachin his son reigned in his stead. And the king of Egypt came not again any more out of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken from the river of Egypt unto the river of Euphrates all that pertained to the king of Egypt. Jehoiachin was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 3 months. And his mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father had done. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Jehoiachin, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother, and his servants, and his princes, and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon king of Israel had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said.
Because it was prophesied that he was going to come and put our people into captivity, right? And that's what happened. That's Bible history. That's world history. So when people say that, oh, it's not real, they don't really know what's really in the Bible. They've only heard the stories about Christ being on the cross. So, family, we're going to keep it going.
Verse 14. And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of the Lord, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths, none remained, save the poorest sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiachin to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty men of the land. Those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. And all of the men, and all the men of might, even 7,000, and craftsmen and smiths, 1,000, all that were strong and apt for war. Even them the king of Babylon brought captive to Babylon. And the king of Babylon made Mattaniah, his father's brother, king in his stead, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, until he had cast him out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon.
All right, family. We're going to get Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar in the wiki. Nebuchadnezzar the second, meaning Nabu. Watch over my here. Biblical Hebrew, also spelled Nebuchadnezzar the second, was the second king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, ruling from the death of his father Nabopolassar in 605 BC to his death in 562 BC. Historically known as Nebuchadnezzar the Great, he is typically regarded as the empire's greatest king. Nebuchadnezzar remains famous for his military campaigns in the Levant, for his construction projects in his capital, Babylon, and for the important part he played in Jewish history. Really, it should always say Israelite history, but like the word says, like the Most High brought out in Psalms 83, that they want to make sure the name of Israel is no more in remembrance. Ruling for 43 years, Nebuchadnezzar was the longest reigning king of the Chaldean dynasty. At the time of his death, Nebuchadnezzar was among the most powerful rulers in the world. Possibly named after his grandfather of the same name, or after Nebuchadnezzar I, one of Babylon's greatest ancient warrior kings, Nebuchadnezzar II already secured renown for himself during his father's reign, leading armies in the Medo-Babylonian War against the Assyrian Empire. Because remember, family, before it was the Assyrian Empire that was ruling the world, that took the northern kingdom and left the Most High. They were trying to come up against the southern kingdom, but the Most High wanted to leave Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Then you have the northern kingdom Israelites that came to the Americas. When did they come? Leaving the Assyrian Empire, 721 BC. So you got to know the timelines to help you with the word and with history. Hopefully we can put a timeline up on here. So you got to know the dates. You got 721 BC, you got 700 BC with the Assyrian Empire. Then you got the Babylonian Empire. Then you got the Persian Empire. Then you got the Greek Empire. And today you got the Roman Empire. And we're going to get it. Where's we at on here? At the Battle of... let's go down. Let's jump it down some. In the third paragraph. After this disappointing early period as King Nebuchadnezzar's luck turned. In the 580s BC, Nebuchadnezzar engaged in a successful string of military actions in the Levant against the vassal states in rebellion there, likely with the ultimate intent of curbing Egyptian influence in the region. In 587 BC, Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the kingdom of Judah and its capital, Jerusalem. The destruction of Jerusalem led to the Babylonian captivity as the city's population and the people from surrounding lands were deported to Babylon. The Jews thereafter referred to Nebuchadnezzar, the greatest enemy that they had faced until that point, as a destroyer of nations. The biblical book of Jeremiah paints Nebuchadnezzar as a cruel enemy, but also as God's appointed ruler of the world and a divine instrument to punish disobedience. Through the destruction of Jerusalem, the capture of the rebellious Phoenician city Tyre, and other campaigns in the Levant, Nebuchadnezzar completed the Neo-Babylonian Empire's transformation into the new great power of the ancient Near East. So, family, just like we was bringing out, we're going to get Isaiah chapter 25, or 2 Kings chapter 25 next. But, family, how we was bringing out the other day about Christopher Columbus and how he knew the Most High was using him to bring forth prophecy. So the Most High, he does these things. It's all written before it even happens. Prophecy's already there. Let's get that. Let's go hold that, get Isaiah chapter 45. Because the Most High, he's directing this whole thing. Showing his power. You obey his law, statute, commandments, you won't go through this. Like he said when we was leaving Mount Sinai and getting the law. What'd he say? He was sending that eagle against us. Who's representing that eagle? Edom. The sons of Edom ruling the world today. Did they not come and send you on hunger and thirst and on slave ships? So they can't war against the Most High. He's letting them do. If it was up to them, we'd have been done a long time ago. Let's go Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 45 and verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Let's go back to verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden, to subdue nations before him. And I will loose the loins of kings to open before him 2 levied gates, and the gates shall not be shut. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight.
So he says Cyrus. Cyrus is of another nation. So he bring forth prophecy of who he's going to use next. We're going to get more on that. We're going to see how he used Alexander the Greek, just like Christopher Columbus. Everything being written aforetime for our learning. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 25.
The book of 2 Kings chapter 25 verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his host, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it. And they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night, by the way of the gate between 2 walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees were against the city round about. And the king went the way toward the plain. And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king, and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. And all his army were scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they slew the son of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out his eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon. And in the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, which is the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of the king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem. And he burnt the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem. And every great man's house burnt he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldees that were with him, or Salakia, with the captain of the guard, break down the walls of Jerusalem round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city, and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon, with the remnant of the multitude, did Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away. But the captain of the guard left of the poor of the land to be the vine dressers and husbandmen.
So he left some of the people in the land. So after this, that's why you still had the poor of our people that was still there in the land of Judea, right? They came and wiped out the city, took some with them, left some there, on to the next land, just conquer and conquer. So family, let's get into these four beasts. Let's start off with Daniel chapter 5. Let's go Daniel chapter 5 from the top.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 5 and verse 1. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem.
We just got done reading it. Finish reading.
That the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes and his wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaister of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me in the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck.
So as you see, family, they always were into observing times, but see, the Israelites dealt with the Most High with prophecy. They waited on the Most High to get him understanding like we do today. We're not looking to go and be a observer of times and doing witchcraft and all that, right? We're not supposed to do any of those things. Let's hold what you got. Let's get Deuteronomy. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 18. Let's start at verse 9.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18 and verse 9. They shall have like portions to eat. So like verse 9. That was verse 8. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto the Lord. And because of these abominations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee. Thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. For these nations which thou shalt possess hearkened unto observers of times, and unto diviners. But as for thee, the Lord thy God hath not suffered thee to do so. The Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken.
Speaking of Christ, but we just wanted to get that, family, for about what the other nations do, right? Let's go back to where we was at in the book of Daniel.
I was in the middle of verse 7. I'm going to pick up verse 7 all over. The king cried aloud, bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were stony. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom.
See, they said the holy gods because they believe in idols and many gods. But we know is one most high power. The Alahims, the plural, the powers, the let us make man in our image. The Father, Son, and that Ruach. Finish reading.
Like the wisdom of the gods was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts, were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Bethshazar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would slew, slug it, and whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would, he set up, and whom he would, he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beasts, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee. And thou, and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear not, nor know. And the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written.
You could jump down to 26.
Verse 26. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances and art found waiting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with a scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And Darius, the Median, took the kingdom, being about 62 years old.
If you could get a Bible dictionary, Zondervan, get a page, get Darius. Go. Page 126.
This is Darius in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. A common name for Medo-Persian rulers. Darius, the Mede, son of Ahasuerus, made governor of Babylon by Cyrus. But he seems to have ruled for only a brief time. Prominent in the book of Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Darius.
That's
stop.
Jump it down to where's reorganized.
I didn't catch it.
Just right after all the passages.
Got you. Reorganize government into satrapies, and extend boundaries of empire. Great builder, defeated by Greeks at Marathon.
Mm-hmm. So what we bringing out, family, now the Persians. So you had Nebuchadnezzar, that timeline about 605 BC, going into the rise of the Persian Empire now, taking over about 539, 540 BC. And these places exist, family. You know, the world just thinks the Bible is just a storybook. And that's why here in Babylon, we've been the most destroyed. You know, we think that these places didn't exist, that we weren't in captivity in these lands. See, the people got lighter because, you know, Esau done came on the scene, Alexander the Greek and the Romans, and of course have spread their blood all around the earth. Do not want to rip these pages. Alright. Let's get some more. But these places exist, right? Ancient Persia. Why you think they always come through each war, take all the artifacts? Take all the artifacts. It still exists to this day. Let's get one more. This book, Ancient Near East. Art of the Ancient Near East. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7.
Book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 1. The first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the great heaven strove up the great sea, and four beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
Listen to the four beasts that Daniel seen. Listen to the four beasts of Daniel.
The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it.
Now it's going into the Persian Empire.
And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Speaking of the Greek Empire, the Grecian Empire, we gonna get it.
And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and had 10 horns.
Going into the Roman Empire, the fourth beast.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the root.
Speaking of that little horn, Babylon, America, that came from the three that were plucked up from France, Spain, and Great Britain. The ones who came and gave you 1776. We're going to put this up, family. But this is just a timeline of all the wickedness that's been going on. Satan using each empire to rule the world. Bring it out.
And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit,
Hold that right
whose
there.
gar-
Speaking great things, all the things that this little horn speaks. Sends his lies through CNN, send the lies throughout the whole world, speaking blasphemies against the Most High, just destroying his doctrine after slavery, right? Sending you all those missionaries, Jehovah's Witness, baptism, doesn't matter. Mormonism, just straight sending all the missionaries to go destroy the mindsets of those Israelites to where now they don't even know all this is history. Finish reading.
whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake.
That horn is speaking a whole lot. They just deceiving the earth right now. But in the last days, after the fourth empire, we know Christ is coming to destroy the Roman Empire. Hold that. Get 2nd Ezra chapter 6, 8, 9.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, and verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world.
Esau will be ruling the world in the last days. Is it the Roman Empire, the Edomites? Finish reading.
And Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
And then Jacob's rulership is coming. Go back to what you got.
Pick up at verse 11. I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away.
Because the other empires before, ancient Babylon, ancient Persia, which is Iran today, the Greeks, and now the Romans. The other empires, they still around, but they're not ruling nothing. Edom, the Roman Empire has subdued all these kingdoms. So their dominion is taken away. Finish reading.
Yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven.
Speaking of
and
Christ.
Came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever.
We're going to take the kingdom. That's what Christ prophesied. That's what Daniel was prophesying right here. That's what Christ prophesied. Let's get that. Let's go to... We're going to take the kingdom, right? Let's get the book of let's get Ezekiel. Hold that, since we right there. Let's go Ezekiel chapter 25. Let's start at verse 12.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 25 and verse 12. Thus saith the Lord God, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them, Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword.
Hold on. So the inhabitants of Dedan and Teman, the sons of Edom, right, shall fall.
And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel.
They gonna take the kingdom when Christ give them that same power. When we find the Ark of the Covenant, like it talks about in 2nd Maccabees, when the Ark of the Covenant is found again in that power, when Christ gonna go out before the enemies. See, that's why all this AI, I think your thing going battery low. You logged off. All the artificial intelligence, all the super warrior movies, because they know the power that's gonna come back in those times, those are still here. Because only the remnant that's believing in the Most High and doing what He telling them to do, law, statutes, commandments, gonna see that power. See, a lot of people don't believe in the power, but yet you could see life being born. You see a baby is born. You see the sun, moon, stars. You see the power, but you denying the power. You not believing in the power of the Most High, that these things, that these prophecies gonna happen when this book of Daniel was written before the Grecians was even ruling the world. In the original Hebrew text. Finish reading.
Come. And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger, and according to my fury. And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord God.
Let's go back to Daniel. For these 4 beasts. So you got that first beast. You have the Babylonian Empire. You got that second beast, the Persian Empire. You got that third beast, the Grecian empires, which is Edom as well. You have the fourth beast, which is the Roman Empire. We're going to go and get some history on it. Finish reading.
Verse 19. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And of the 10 horns that were in his head.
The 10 horns. The original EU powers that was ruling the world. Finish reading.
And of the others which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows.
Because who's standing up in great power like that little horn? America, the place to be, the place that everyone looks for everything. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get the prophecies of the destruction of Babylon too. Bring that out.
Verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints,
making
and
war
prevailed against them.
Making war with the saints. You born into a war right now, it's just slow. Oh, they coming full-fledged. Don't worry about it. All the campaigns, shut it down. Get them that juice. When have you seen anything like you seen in 2020 where they just want to help you that much? Yet it's homeless, sick people right outside every Capitol building in Babylon. Every Capitol building. Even in Rome, even outside the Vatican. And you want to help the people? When they say peace, peace, then sudden destruction. Finish reading.
Verse 22. Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom.
Let's hold that right there. Reread that part again.
Until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High.
Judgment is going to be given to the saints of the Most High. We know Psalms. Let's get that. Let's get a few precepts. Go Psalms 50 and 5. Write the precepts down, family.
It's the book of Psalm, chapter 50 and verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
The Israelites made a covenant with him by sacrifice, leaving Egypt. The Israelites are the saints. It's not Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act. It's not those nuns. Those aren't saints. No statues in the Catholic Church. Those aren't saints. The saints are the children of Israel. The ones that's going to possess the kingdom. That's what it says. That's who's leading his kingdom. And Gentiles called by his name in his kingdom. That's what the word say. We just bringing forth the word. Let's also get 1 Corinthians, family, chapter 6, verse 3. No, let's start at verse 1.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 1. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unjust and not before the saints?
How you don't go to each other to correct something? Why you just ready to go to law? Y'all can't correct it? How you can't correct the stuff amongst each other? And we're the saints. Finish reading.
Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
Don't you know they don't want these prophecies to come to pass? They know that judgment is going to be given to you, saints.
And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Know ye not that we shall judge angels?
Because the fallen angels that's over all these religions, that's given the wicked rulers of each empire the information through enchantments and all the things that they do, their sorcery to destroy the earth and destroy the Most High God's people, they're going to get judged too. They're going to get judged. That's what hell was made for. It was made for them. It wasn't made for your destruction, but if you're going to follow the leaders, those fallen spirits and Lucifer. Finish reading.
How much more things that pertain to this life?
How much more should you be able to judge things pertaining to this life? Let's go back to the book of Daniel. They don't want you having this truth. They're not ready for this judgment. They're doing everything, billions of dollars, more sacrifices. Each empire, we got it. No, they know that time is getting short. Bring that out.
Picking up at Daniel chapter 7 and verse 23. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth.
It's devoured the whole earth. Rome has disguised itself so well that they have different countries as different parts. No more just ruling from Rome. No, they stepped their game up. Using the U.S. for the military bases all over the earth. That finance from Great Britain, that World Bank from Great Britain, that's just over the whole earth. That what else? The sorcery from Rome, that old ancient serpent demonic wisdom from empire to empire.
And shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise.
Those 10 kings, those kingdoms, those 10 from the EU. And
another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first.
Hold on, let's get that, because somebody might write this and try to come in a comment. Well, brother, that says kings. That doesn't say kingdoms. Let us show you how kingdoms are ruled in this earth. Let's go Ezekiel chapter 38. Let's show you how kingdoms are ruled in this earth. No. Not Ezekiel 38. Salakia 28. Let's go. Let's start up from the top.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28 and verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel.
Speaking of that serpent,
There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
There's no secret they can hide. Let's jump it down to 12.
Jumping down to verse 12. Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God.
Who was in the Garden of Eden? That serpent that's giving them all the information. He's ruling all the empires. He's ruling all the empires in the world. You think man could run this whole earth? You think, I don't care if you have you think man could get this world in total lockdown in 1 week like they did March 2020 without some wisdom from that serpent roaming the earth? See, when you go to the churches, family, it's not to knock the churches because there is some good, as far as some order for the Most High's people having Christ. No, you don't have the knowledge, but in these times you got to repent because knowledge is everywhere these days, right? But you think, well, is Satan in hell already? Is he? No, the word time and time again, he's roaming this earth. Book of Job, he's roaming this earth. First, the book of Peter, he's roaming this earth, looking to devour whom he must, who he will. He's roaming. He's stuck here. He's trying to get out. You seen the Matrix? And the agent was trying to get up out the earth. I hate it here. Can't stand it here. NASA trying to get up out of here. You can't crack the firmament. Y'all haven't been out there. Just trying to get up out of here. Trying to war against the Most High. Like it says in Isaiah chapter 14. He want to sit on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. He wants to be like the Most High. It's not going to happen. Finish reading.
Finish in Ezekiel. Says, Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx and jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created.
Look how he was created. He was musical. He was shining. He was shining. Who was shining like him? Now look how he done put his culture on the hip hop industry. You shining. You musician. You shining. You singing good. Not for the Most High. Not for the Most High. Not even a little bit. But this image, right? Finish reading.
Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence. And thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as a profane out of the mountain of God. And I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire.
He done with them. That's who's ruling these empires. Where was we at? Let's go back to this gonna be a lengthy lesson. Let's go to what's that? Daniel, you had chapter 7?
Yep.
Let's finish that.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse, I'm gonna pick up at verse 24. And the 10 horns out of the kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
They wearing us out. We tired of Dwayne Wade. We're tired of all your Black Lives Matter. We're tired of all your equality. We're tired of voting this man. We're tired of begging and asking, and we're tired of trying to make something and have to come to you for permission. We're tired of not having no help. We tired. You just wearing us out. We tired of how you done programmed our people. That little horn is wearing out the saints of the Most High, wearing us out. You can't even go. The times are just not the same. You just programmed so much destruction. That little horn that came from France, Spain, and Great Britain.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
You done worn us out with your fake law. You're not keeping the laws of the Most High. In God we trust. Which God? Y'all not following the laws of the Most High God. Y'all following the laws of Lucifer. Y'all have programmed the world to do as thou wilt. You made the world think evil is good and good is evil. Bring that up.
And think to change times and laws.
You think to change the times. You think to change the laws. You're not going off of the Most High God's laws calendar. You're not dealing with his feast days and holy days. You're dealing with you think to change times and laws, but prophecy gonna stand.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of times. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitations, much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me. But I kept the matter in my heart.
And he said, what was that? What was that I seen, family? What was that? So let's get some more. We see we have Babylonian Empire. Then we have the Persian Empire. Then Daniel was seeing the Greek Empire and this Roman Empire. He's just seeing these empires, but he doesn't know what it is yet. Let's bring out chapter 8.
Daniel chapter 8 and verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns. The 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, for that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will, and became great. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west of the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes.
Speaking of Alexander the Greek, we're going to bring it out.
And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great. And when he was strong, the great horn was broken. And for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. And out of one of them came the 4th a little horn, which waxeth exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, And it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of hosts.
He
And by
magnified
him,
himself to the prince of the host. He magnified himself to the prince. Who's the prince? Christ. He's magnifying himself against the prince of the host.
and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away.
And that daily sacrifice was taken away during the time of Maccabees. We're going to read that.
And the place of his sanctuary was cast down, and an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression.
Because we was transgressing the law. So the reason of transgression, they were able to come in during the time of Maccabees because we broke the laws of the Most High and curses, getting you up out of the Holy Land, losing your heritage, losing your identity slowly but surely. From the last, 2,000 years, this has been going on. All of this history. Well, this history right here, Persian captivity, you probably go about 2,500. Finish reading.
And it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced.
There's no more truth here. They've cast down the truth to the ground. There's no more truth until the last days, like it's prophesied. We wasn't born with this knowledge. We haven't been in this truth our whole lives. All this knowledge we getting. Way more now. We could teach the principles something. Finish reading.
And prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto the certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give it both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed.
And that's what he's doing right now. Now, he's cleaning us up as well. Finish reading.
And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood. And when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, Understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. And he said, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation.
And we're going to get those 4 kingdoms that stood up out of Alexander the Greek's empire. That after he passed, and then bringing in the Roman Empire and the Herodian dynasty out of Idumea, getting together with their cousins. All the Edomites getting together.
It says, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
Not by their own power.
And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
Speaking of Antiochus Epiphanes during the time of Maccabees, came in to just destroy Jerusalem. Destroyed our people, was torturing left and right.
And through his policy.
Isn't that the same thing they use now? But like, yeah, we're going to through policy. All these terms that you hear when you turn on your news in politics. Yeah, the policy. We're going to pass a new law. The policies, we're putting a new policy in place. But through policy, you destroying us through your policies. No new thing under the sun. Finish reading.
Verse 25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall destroy many.
By peace. When they say peace, they destroy many. Come through. We have a drive-through for shots. Come through a drive-through and get your shots. It's an emergency. We want to help you guys. We just want peace. Islam, religion of peace. Christianity, Prince of Peace. What do he say? Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Let's get it out of Christ's mouth. Salakia, chapter 10, verse 34, I believe. He's coming to bring a sword before peace.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
He coming to bring divisions, to pull his people, to separate who's with him and who's not. Then he coming to bring that sword. He bringing that sword on this war of Armageddon. And then it's going to be peace. So while they say you got peace, no, there ain't no peace. Their world doesn't run off of peace. They've never, there's only been peace. Well, it only says that it's going to be peace when the holy people are in the land, like it says in Isaiah chapter 2. Finish what you got in Daniel.
Picking up in the middle of verse 25 in Daniel chapter 8. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
He coming to destroy them without hand. They're not going to even touch him. Easy work. Let's go into the Zondervan dictionary. Let's get page 31. Alexander the Greek.
You got Alexander the Greek, son of Philip, king of Macedonia, and Olympias, and Epiro princess. Although not named in the Bible, he is described prophetically in Daniel. The he-goat from the west with the notable horn between his eyes.
That's what we just read. Alexander the Greek. He's coming to bring against the Medes, Darius, Cyrus, Xerxes, that whole Persian Empire. Finish reading.
He came against the ram with two horns, which standing before the river, defeated the ram and became very great until the great horn was broken, and four notable ones came up from it. The prophecy identifies the ram as the kings of Media and Persia, the goat as the king of Greece, the great horn being the first king. When he fell, four kings arose in his place. The historical fulfillment is striking. Alexander led the Greek armies across the Hellespont into Asia Minor in 334 BC and defeated the Persian forces at the river Granicus. Moving with amazing rapidity, the he-goat touched not the ground, as it says in Daniel chapter 8 and verse 5. He again met and defeated the Persians at Isis. Turning south, he moved down to the Syrian coast.
Who conquered the world faster than Alexander the Greek? And when we went out there, we didn't get to see that room that they had at the museum, but he got his own room in the British Museum. I mean, he's like the start. He put him on the map. He's the most famous Edomite to put him on the map to start this Roman Empire conquest. Well, of course, the Edomite I say because he was from Grecia, but as you know through Zepho, if you don't know Zepho, in the book of Jasher, the Esau's son that went into Italia, that was the first one over there to set the Edomite rulership in so-called Europe. Then on down to Alexander the Greek putting it down, conquering the earth. And then you have the Caesars. And on down to now, who do you have? They don't even call themselves. You think that the Roman Empire is done, but they're showing you they still here. Finish reading.
It says, advancing to Egypt, which fell to him without a blow. Turning again to the east, he met the armies of Darius for the last time, defeating them in the battle of Arbela, of the Tigris River. Rapidly, he occupied Babylon, then Susa and Persepolis, the capitals of Persia. He later marched his armies eastward as far as India, where they won a great battle. The army, however, refused to advance further, and Alexander was forced to return to Persepolis.
That's good. Let's get some more on Alexander the Greek before we go into the word. But while I get this, can't go to First Maccabees. Alexander the Great, Alexander III of Macedonia. Alexander the Great was a king of ancient Greek, king of Macedon. He succeeded his father Philip II to the throne in 336 BC at the age of 20, and spent most of his ruling years conducting a lengthy military campaign through Western Asia and Egypt. By the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to northwestern India. He was undefeated in battle and is widely considered to be one of history's most greatest and most successful military commanders. Let's see what else we could get. In 334 BC, he invaded the Achaemenid Persian Empire and began a series of campaigns that lasted for 10 years following his conquest of Asia Minor. Alexander broke the power of the Achaemenid Persia in a series of decisive battles, including those at Isis and Gaugamela. He subsequently overthrew Darius III and conquered the Persian Empire in its entirety. So you have Alexander the Greek. Let's bring that out. No, first, let's get the Apocrypha, family, because we always have to bring forth the milk in case someone comes across this. Apocrypha. When you have your King James Bible, if you don't know, family, there is no Apocrypha. It's just Old Testament, New Testament. But then if you get your original 1611 King James Version, let's see. The Apocrypha's in it. Missing books, right? Now, why would the Catholic Church do that? Let's get the wiki for it. Apocrypha. Apocrypha are works usually written of unknown authorship or of a doubtful origin. The word apocryphal was first applied to writings which were kept secret because they were the vehicles of esoteric knowledge. More lies. Considered too profound or too sacred to be disclosed to anyone other than the initiated, Apocrypha was later applied to writings that were hidden not because of their divinity, but because of their questionable value to the church. In general use, the word Apocrypha has come to mean false, spurious, or bad or heretical. If they saying it's bad for you, you better know it's good. You better know it's good because we want what King James put in there originally. We want what black Judite King James had in there originally. We don't want what they taken out after slavery. So you can not know how the Roman Empire and the Greeks came on the scene, because you just go from the Old Testament to the Persian Empire, and then you jump right into the book of Matthew, and then the Romans are ruling. So you can never put the link in pieces to how Edom came on the scene to rule the world. Let's bring that out. Go to First Maccabees in Apocrypha.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten.
So this is world history, Alexander the Greek. So the Bible is world history. All these things can be confirmed. Timelines, dates. We into this third empire, going into the fourth.
Had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth. And he went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host, and ruled over countries, and nations, and kings, who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick, and prevailed that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth.
So he brought up men that was brought up with him from his youth, because after he conquered the earth, about 325, he started just taking them over quick, and then passed away at 325 BC. So they was putting it down 300 years before the disciples was on the scene. That's why they was already ruling the land of Judea. Bring that out.
Let me see. Slakia. And he parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth.
Woo! Evils was multiplied upon the earth. Once those four came out, remember it talks about the four that came in the book of Daniel, what Lamar was bringing out in, chapter 8? When you was bringing out, so four came up out of Alexander the Greek, and they put crowns on their heads and said, all right, now it's time to see who could take it over. Who's going to be the one? Because Edom always have a little trouble, and but they know not to team up with you Israelites. Us Israelites, they know to make sure that, look, we're going to have a little problems in our kingdom. But no, they're enemy number one. But look at Israel. Who's number one in Israel's eyes? The Israelites. Bringing them truth. Just because some people don't want to include everybody or whatever. We teach all people. We're not mad at the Edomites or the Ishmaelites, the rulers of this world, for sure. We're not messing with them. But you could get this understanding, because this is not our knowledge. We didn't ask to be put in this war, but we in it. Gird your loins up. You want the kingdom? You got to come in this kingdom. If you're going to come in this kingdom, you got to come into this war. It say faith without works is dead. You got to get your works up. You got to be out here. You can't just, you working all hard on Instagram and all that. You working all hard on Facebook. You working hard for the state or the city or the county or whatever your job, your business. You working, or if you working hard, just getting high on the couch. Whatever you doing, you better clean it up and get in this war, get in this work. I won't go too far off. Finish reading, King.
Picking up at verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Man, let's go get with Massa, man. Ever since we left them, and it's the same thing now. No, man, y'all want America to fall. Y'all want Babylon to fall. Every empire is like this. Egyptian empire, they wanted to go back. These Greeks coming on the scene. Man. We not going to trust in the Most High. We want what they got for us, not knowing He always got something better for you. Bring that out.
It says, I'm picking up at verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have heard much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the custom of the heathen.
They stay with them Olympics.
And made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
We don't want to hear those laws of God. We don't want to hear that Bible, man. Y'all coming with that. But we saying, look, I thought you've been looking for yourself. We thought Black Lives Matter and you royalty. We thought you was a king. We thought you was a queen. We thought you was ready for this. And what you see, our people like, no. Our people always been like this. Ain't no white man make you do this stuff. The white man, brother. Finish reading.
Verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt, and he took the spoils thereof. And after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
So family, you talking about family about you talking about 320, about 320 BC?
Verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessels.
Salakia, about 215 BC. Finish reading.
Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of woman was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentations, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit.
That's what they always do. They gonna speak peaceable words to you, but all be deceit, lining you up. That cunning hunter that the rulers and sons of Esau is, right? That cunning hunter. Smile and tell you, put this hat on, man. Welcome to the Patriots. Yeah, bud. And then cut your butt. Let's get that. Let's go to 2nd Maccabees, because there's no new thing under the sun. All this culture and Hall of Fame and all this stuff is the same old same. It's nothing new under the sun. Let's go 2nd Maccabees chapter 4. And let's start at 11.
It's the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 11. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John, the father of Eupolemus, who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid. He took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law. For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
Go put that hat on. Welcome to the squad. Same old same. Go back to 1st Maccabees. It's nothing new under the sun. They're not making up anything new.
1st Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 30. And he spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and children took they captive, and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare. For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, an evil adversary to Israel.
They was an evil adversary to us, always doing stuff. Jump it over to verse 47. No. Let's start at verse 41.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for. Same old same. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why we destroying you and we ruling. Finish reading.
And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
Yeah, let's just do what they do. Let's do what they do. Same old thing. Let's go jump it over to 47.
Okay. 47. Set up altars and groves.
You might want to plug it in.
Let me see.
We got some time if we need to wait. Good?
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna read from 44.
Okay.
If I get something. Come on, verse 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem, and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice, and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
All the idols they got in the Catholic Church, all the idols they got in all the churches, that cross of Tammuz right when you walk in, just big and bright. Caesar Borgia got you eating swine flesh. You stay with pepperoni pizza. You stay wanting to go to Red Lobster celebration. You stay wanting to eat shrimp, crab, lobster as a delight. All these things is programming you and defiling you, getting you so far from the Most High way of life that He wants you to live. Getting you far away. And anytime you come a little close, no, that's old, that's hate speech, that's anti-Semitic. But they trying to be Semitic. But they don't believe in Christ. These people done crucified Christ with our people as well. When you read the New Testament, with our people as well, and history. Bring that out.
Verse 48, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In the self same manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor.
Jumping down to 56.
And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire.
Burn them books. They don't need that history. Burn them books.
And wheresoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
No, you trying to keep God's laws. You keeping God's laws. You're not supposed to keep. Look at the doctrine. Now they got you thinking the law is evil. When he say what, Lama? Why I get that? What he say in Book of Psalms? What's that? 119, or is it 19? 19 and 7. What he say about his law? His law clean you up. His law gonna have you right.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and the law is the truth.
The law is the truth. Get that one in 19 and 7. Get both of them.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul.
Nothing's wrong with it. Go back to what you got in Maccabees, King.
Picking up at verse 58. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities. Now the 25th and 20th day of the month they did sacrifice upon the idol altar, which was upon the altar of God. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. And they hanged the infants about their necks, and rifled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore they chose rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant, So then they died, and there was very great wrath upon Israel.
Very great wrath upon Israel, the Greeks. So when they say there's no difference between the Jew nor the Greek, there's bond or free, yeah, because they didn't know that was our people. They didn't know that we were the Greek, that we were the ones that had been colonized. Get that in the Zondervan. Go to Hellenes. Get that in Hellenes in page 223. They didn't know it was our people that was there. How did we get there? Taking you into captivity. You scattering all through, scattering you, bringing you back to Greece from Israel.
This is Hellenist.
Greece to Israel.
Jews who made Greek their tongue, and with it often adopted Greek ideas and practices.
Greek-speaking Jews. Greek-speaking Jews. Let's get this. We in the Josephus. We on page 384. We in chapter 8. Let's go chapter 8. Book 2, chapter 8. Chapter 8, paragraph 4. Now Alexander, when he had taken Gaza, hurried to go up to Jerusalem, and Judah and Jadah the high priest, when he heard that, was in agony and under terror, as not knowing how he should meet the Macedonians, since the king was displeased at his foregoing disobedience. He therefore ordained that the people should make supplications and should join with him in offerings sacrificed to God, whom he begged to protect that nation and to deliver them from the perils that were coming upon them. So our people knew that he was coming. Our priests, the prophets, knew he was coming. Whereupon God warned him in a dream which came upon him after he had offered sacrifice, that he should take courage and adorn that city and open the gates, that the rest should appear in white garments, but that he and the priest should meet the king in the habits proper to their order, without the dread of any ill consequences, which the providence of God would prevent. Upon which, when he arose from his sleep, he greatly rejoiced and declared to all the warning he had received from the Most High, according to which dream he had acted entirely, and so waited for the coming of the king. Jump it down. For Alexander, when he saw the multitude at a distance in white garments, while the priest stood clothed with fine linen, and the high priest in purple and scarlet clothing, with his mitre on his head, having the golden plate whereon the name of God was engraved, he approached himself and adored that name, and was first saluted the high priest. The Jews also did altogether with one voice salute Alexander, and encompassed him about, whereupon the kings of Syria and the rest were surprised at what Alexander had done, and supposed him disordered in his mind. Alexander and his successors, going into what we was reading, right, in Maccabees now. Following the plan conceived by his father Philip II, young Alexander set out from Macedonia in the spring of 334 BC to conquer the vast reaches of the Persian Empire, beginning with Asia Minor. En route, he annexed Syria, Palestine, and Egypt. Then did not stop in his victorious trek eastward until he reached India, defeating all the enemies in his path. In 323, however, he grew ill after a bout of banqueting and drinking at Babylon, dying 10 days later at only 33 years of age. His plan to marry Europe and Asia resulted in an intermingling that affected subsequently history powerfully by laying down a Hellenistic cultural substrate for civilization in the Near East and Mediterranean. After his death, Alexander's empire was divided among 3 of his generals who warred against each other. So that's what we was going into when he said many evils grew upon the land after what they did, and they start warring against each other, trying to get that rulership. Go to 2 Maccabees chapter 10.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 10 and verse 1. Now Maccabeus and his company, the Lord guiding them, recovered the temple and the city. But the altars which the heathen had built in the open street, and also the chapels, they pulled down. And having cleansed the temple, they made another altar. And striking stones, they took fire out of them, and offered a sacrifice after 2 years, and set forth incense and lights and showbread. When that was done, they fell flat down and besought the Lord that they might come no more into such troubles. But if they sinned any more against him, that he himself would chasten them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered unto the blasphemous and barbarous nations. Now upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, on the very same day it was cleansed again, even the 25th and 20th day of the same month.
So our people, go ahead, finish that out.
Which is Caslu.
So our people is always trying to get some get back, trying to just fight, just like now. That's why they don't want this truth coming out. There's nothing they can do when Israel knows who they are. They start fighting up against the system. They start keeping laws, statutes, commandments. They know what time it is. They know this is it. They know the prophecies. They know it all. They know. This whole world is about the Israelites, the Most High, and Christ's kingdom. This is all his storybook, right? This is his big movie. We're gonna go back into Josephus, but you can go to 2nd Esdras chapter 11 while I get this. Come on, I'm in a Josephus. I'm in the Jewish War, book 3, chapter 2. Chapter 2 and 4 in the Josephus. Historical book. And now Vespasian took along with him his army from Antioch, which is in metropolis of Syria, and without dispute deserves the place of the 3rd city in which the habitable earth that was under the Roman Empire. Because now we're going into the 4th beast. We showed you the Greeks, which is the same people, same Edomites, just scattered, coming amongst each other, just like today. You got Russia, America, Rome, Great Britain. You even got them mixed with they Ishmaelite brothers in the land of Ishmael. They're not the original darker Ishmaelites. Because Alexander the Greek and them, they have spread their blood throughout the whole earth. Let's finish this up. Both in magnitude and other marks of prosperity, where he found King Agrippa with all his forces waiting for his coming, and marched to Ptolemais. At this city also the inhabitants of Sepphoris of Galilee met him, who were for peace with the Romans. They was at peace. It's their brothers, the Edomites. These citizens had beforehand taken care of their own safety, and being sensible of the power of the Romans, they had been Cestus Gallus before Vespasian came, or been with Cestus Gallus before Vespasian came, and had given their faith to him, and received the security of his oath, and had received a Roman garrison. And so at this time they received Vespasian, the Roman general, very kindly, and readily promised that they would assist him against their own countrymen, because they already took over. Yeah, we got to get them. Now the general delivered them at their desire as many horsemen and footmen as he thought sufficient to oppose the incursions of the Jews, if they should come against them. And indeed, the danger of losing Sepphoris would be no small one in this war that was now beginning, seeing it was the largest city of Galilee and built in a place by nature very strong, and might be a security of the whole nation's faithfulness to the Romans. The Romans is on the scene. They setting it up. Right? But we know Vespasian, that's after Christ, right? And his son Titus came and destroyed and burned down Jerusalem. The Romans on the scene. Let's go to Book of Matthew chapter 2. See, now that the Romans are on the scene now. The fourth beast, the fourth empire is on the scene now. Let's just start at chapter 2. First, while you holding that, I'm gonna get Antipas the Idumean. Antipas the Idumean, born 113 or 114 BC, was founder of the Herodian dynasty, the father of Herod the Great. According to Josephus, he was the son of Antipas and had formerly held that name. A native of Idumea, a region southeast of Judea in which the Edomites settled during this classical period. Antipas became a powerful official under the later Hasmonean kings and subsequently became a client of the Roman general Pompey the Great when Pompey conquered Judah in the name of the Roman Republic. So, they was already on the scene. During the time of Vespasian, they already had certain parts. Come colonize it, go back to handling business. War on terror. Come get the Middle East, Pakistan, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. What else they get? Egypt, Sudan. Now they what they waiting on now? Iran, but it's not gonna happen like prophecy says, right? Iran, the Most High done stirred up the Medes, like Isaiah 13 say. So the Romans is on the scene. Antipas, the father of the Herodian dynasty, the Herodians, many Herods. It's not just one, many Herods. They always name the lands that name themselves after themselves, right? Bring that out. Matthew chapter 2 from the top.
The book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse 1. Now when Yahshua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born king of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, and thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also.
Let me come worship him. Remember, when they say peace, peace, sudden destruction. Finish reading.
Verse 9. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over the young child. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt.
They had to flee because the Most High knew that Herod was trying to kill that one that was prophesied. They were just waiting in land. Nah, we gonna make sure that this one ain't ruled. They didn't know. They didn't know that they couldn't stop this great sacrifice for Israel, that they would lose their heritage, and that their kingdom, they would have about 2,000 years to rule, because it was prophesied in the book of Genesis that Esau will rule the world through the sword. He would have the dew of heaven. He would have it all. The sons of Esau will conquer the whole earth. And they have gotten, what, 95%? Just trying to get the Iranian to just get on board with them with this weapons deal. And he like, nope. Because the Most High said he done stirred up the Medes. But that's another lesson. We want to stick to this 4 beasts of Daniel. But let's get that. Let's get that in Genesis 28. No. Let's get 27. Let's get Genesis 27 and verse 39. For these sons of Esau, the Edomites, ruling the world, our big brother Esau, that just won't let up.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27 and verse 29. Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee.
Speaking of Jacob's blessing,
Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison, and brought it me, and I have eaten of all before thou, Salakia, and I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed.
Oh, Jacob's gonna be blessed because he got the blessing already.
And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these 2 times. He have took away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made thy Lord, Slakia, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
And don't they live by that sword? They live by that sword. They've been taking over the whole earth.
And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
And that's what they've been doing nonstop. Nonstop. It's spiritual. It's spiritual, right? It's spiritual. Now let's get into Herod in this Josephus. Why I get this king? Can't go to the book of Obadiah. I'm in the Jewish War, Book 1, Chapter 33. Now Herod's sickness became more and more severe to him, and this because his disorders fell upon him in his old age. And when he was in melancholy condition, for he was already 70 years of age, and had been brought by the calamities that happened to him about his children, whereby he had no pleasure in life. Even when he was in health, the grief also that Antipas was still alive aggravated his disease. Not speaking of Agrippa the Idumean, but now you're talking about the earlier Herod and his son. He named his son after his great grandfather, right? Also, that Antipas was still alive aggravated his disease, whom he resolved to put to death, now not at random, but as soon as he should be well again, and resolved to have him killed in a public manner. There also now happened to him among his other calamities a certain popular rebellion. There were 2 men of learning in the city of Jerusalem who were thought the most skillful in the laws of their country, speaking of the Israelites, and were on that account held in a very great esteem all over the nation. They were the one Judas, the son of Sepphoris, and the other Mattathias, the son of Megalus. There was a great concourse of the young men to these men when they expounded the laws, and there got together every day a kind of army of such as were growing up to be men. Now when these men were informed that the king was weary away in melancholy, and with a sickness, they dropped words to their acquaintances how it was not a very proper time to defend the cause of God, and to pull down what had been erected against the laws of their country, because they stay putting up idols wherever the Israelites are. For it was unlawful there should be any such thing in the temple as images or faces. Gotta get that one. Images or faces are like representation of any animal, whatever. Now the king had put up a golden eagle over the great gate of the temple, which these learned men exhorted them to cut down, and told them that if there should any danger arise, it was a glorious thing to die for the laws of their country, because that the soul was immortal, and that an eternal enjoyment of happiness did await such as died on that account, while the mean-spirited and those that were not wise enough to show a right love of their souls preferred a death by a disease before that which is a result of a virtuous behavior. Now, this eagle that they stay erecting, United States eagle, Russia eagle, Rome eagle, that same eagle that represents the Roman Empire. Let's get that in the book of Obadiah. Let's go Obadiah 1 and 3. Bring that up.
It's the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle,
on the back of your dollar bill, on every flag,
and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Most High. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Even a thief would have stolen had enough.
If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
Even they would leave a little grapes. Y'all just keep stealing and colonizing. No rest. You just steal, take. Now you trying to take mankind and womankind. You trying to just destroy the earth. You trying to destroy God's creations.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border.
Y'all have come right to the border of Jehoshaphat, ready for the war Armageddon. You got your whole United Nations, one world government. You done colonized. You done came and took his land, but you didn't know that in the center of the earth. His eyes are upon Jerusalem, like the scriptures say. In that, you right there, you ready for the saints. Get that. Get the book of Jude. This is probably one of the longest lessons we done probably did. But we gotta make sure this information go out, family. Let's get the book of Jude, chapter 1, and I want to say 14. Con.
It's the book of Jude, verse 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds, which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches, which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
That's what he coming to do. Like when you read the book of Joel, chapter 3. Let's go to 2nd Esdras, chapter 11. In the Apocrypha. It seems like we in Apocrypha a lot when they say it's just not inspired and we just going to take that out and all, because it exposes how they got on the scene, how we got in Greece, and their whitewashed images, and how they were on the scene as Romans in Greece, and in the northern kingdom in Azareth that Christopher Columbus used. Christopher Columbus used it. Why we can't see what he was using to get us? Why we can't see what he was using? Go to start from the top. 2nd Esdras chapter 11.
The book of 2nd Esdras chapter 11 and verse 1. Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle.
That same eagle. What's this eagle doing in Esdras' dream?
Which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. And I saw, and behold,
those
she spread
12,
her wings over all
the
the
12
earth.
Caesars. Are these the 12 feathered wings that he's seeing that came up out of that eagle? The 12 feathered wings? Could this be the 12 Caesars?
And I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her, and were gathered together. And I beheld, and out of her feathers there grew another contrary feathers, and they became little feathers and small.
All that came after the 12 Caesars. All of them. It's a lot of little feathers that then came up out of Edom, the unholy Roman Empire. You got popes, you got governors, you got politicians and presidents, you got the main 12 feathers of Caesars. Now you just got all type of little feathers up out of this Roman Empire that done just taken over the whole earth. Finish reading.
Verse 4. But her heads were at rest. The head in the midst was greater than the other, yet rested it with the residue. Moreover, I beheld, and lo, the eagle flew with her feathers and reigned upon earth, and over them that dwelleth therein. And I saw that all things under heaven were subject unto her, and no man spake against her, no, not one creature upon earth. And I beheld, and lo, the eagle rose upon her talons, and spake to her feathers, saying, Watch, not all at once. Sleep every one in his own place, and watch by course. But let the heads be preserved for the last. And I beheld, and lo, the voice went not out of her heads, but from the midst of her body. And I numbered her contrary feathers. And behold, there were 8 of them. And I looked, and behold, on the right side there arose one feather, and reigned over all the earth. And so it was that when it rained, the end of it came, and the place thereof appeared no more. So the next following stood up, and reigned, and had a great time. And it happened that when it rained, the end of it came also, like as the first, so that it appeared no more.
That eagle's not going to appear no more. Eagle ain't gonna appear no more. Jump it over to verse 21.
Verse 21. For some of them were set up, but ruled not. After this I looked, and behold, the 12 feathers appeared no more, nor the 2 little feathers. And there was no more upon the eagle's body, but 3 heads that rested, and 6 little wings. Then saw I also that 2 little feathers divided themselves from the 6, and remained under the head that was upon the right side, for the 4 continued in their place. And I beheld, and lo, the feathers that were under the wing thought to set up themselves and to have rule. And I beheld, and lo, there was one set up, but shortly it appeared no more. And the second was sooner away than the first. And I beheld, and lo, the 2 that remained thought also in themselves to reign. And when they so thought, behold, there awakened one of the heads that were at rest, namely, it that was in the great Slakia, it that was in the midst, for that was greater than the 2 other heads. And then I saw that 2 other heads were joined with it.
Hold on,
and behold,
let me come in. And then you see, like our Pike book, all in Freemasonry. Your two-headed eagle. Your Masons, 2-headed eagle. So they put it in your face. Bring that out.
And then verse 30. And then I saw that the 2 other heads were joined with it. And behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and did eat up the 2 feathers under the wings that would have reigned. But this head put the whole earth in fear, and bare rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression.
Much oppression. The whole world is in much oppression. You thought you was doing something with EDD. Up, gas, inflation. Got the whole world in oppression. Finish reading.
And it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been.
Why? Because it has the United Nations, Caesar's crown over it, running the whole thing. United Nations. It's all theater. It's all theater when they put the cameras on. 1, 2, 3. Acting time. That's just for you to think I can vote. Just to have you at ease while they destroy you. They want to speak peaceable words to you while they destroying you. They don't want, don't go nowhere. We want to see you suffer. That serpent seed. This is what they do to the Amalekites. This is what they do. Creeping up behind you, leaving Egypt. Creeping up behind you now. You don't know who the real enemy is. You destroy your own people. You hate your own people. And it's this small group of people ruling the whole world. Laughing at the whole world. Because they don't have the wisdom. They ain't dealing with the Ruach. They don't want to come to the Most High. Gotta come to the Most High. Bring that out.
Verse 33. And after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings. But there remained the 2 heads, which also in the sort ruled upon the earth, and over those that dwelt therein. And I beheld, and lo, the head upon the right side devoured it that was upon the left side. Then I heard a voice which said unto me, Look before thee, and consider the king that thou seest. And I beheld, and lo, as it were a roaring lion chased out of the wood. And I saw that he sent out a man's voice unto the eagle, and said, Hear thou, I will talk with thee, and the highest shall say unto thee, Art not thou it that remainest of the 4 beasts, whom I made to reign in my world, that the end of their times might come through them? And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth. with much wicked oppression.
Much wicked oppression. It don't say much oppression, much wicked oppression. The wicked. Hold that, King. Go to Job 9:24. Wicked. It's so wicked what they do that you just blinded. Think about their wickedness. Their wickedness. The LGBT, the pedophilia, the music industry, the fashion industry. Think about what they're doing in fashion these days. Wicked oppression. Bring that out.
It's the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked.
The wicked is ruling. Go back to second Esdras.
Picking up at the bottom of verse 40 in chapter 11 of second Esdras. With much wicked oppression, and so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit. For the earth hast thou not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars and destroyed thy dwellings of them that brought forth fruit.
Let's jump it down to 45.
Verse 45. And therefore appear no more, thou eagle, nor thy horrible wings, nor thy wicked feathers, nor thy malicious heads, nor thy hurtful claws, nor all thy vain body, that all the earth may be refreshed, and may return being delivered from thy violence, and that she may hope for the judgment and mercy of him that made her.
It's time for you to be done. It's time for that eagle and the rulers of Edom. It's time for it to just be over with. It's time to cleanse this earth. Go to chapter 12 and verse 11 through 15.
Second Esdras chapter 12 and verse 11. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which was seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore, now I declare it unto thee. Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
Let's go to Revelation 13. They've been ruling for a long time, that fourth kingdom. That eagle. We always say about 2,000 years, but if you're talking Alexander the Greek, about 2,300, 2,400 years. It was a struggle. It was a fight. The Renaissance era, the Dark Ages, the Crusades, all that history. Get Revelation 13 from the top.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
And we know that Rome sits on 7 mountains.
And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Straight name of blasphemy, saying that you done totally destroyed and haven't even given this world the Most High's name a higher. You done got Lucifer all up in your churches. You done destroyed the Most High God's doctrine of Christ. You done put a false image. You done sent out many different pastors that have destroyed his doctrine through your Zionism finance. Your Catholic Church. You done enslaved the Israelites in the name of your Catholic Church, in the name of Christianity. Finish reading.
Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat and great authority.
Because serpent, that old dragon called the devil, giving them their power, giving them the kingdom. They're his serpent seed. They're his chosen people. Like the Israelites are the Most High's chosen people to rule his kingdom. Oh, Esau, the Amalekites is Lucifer's chosen people to rule his kingdom. He's a copycat.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
His deadly wound was healed in that what 194, 193 BC, right? When the Roman Empire fell, and then they came back to power during the Renaissance era. 1492, they back. 1492 to 1776, we back. We back. America. It's time for that little horn to rise up. Statue of Liberty. Put that big old statue of Semiramis. Go ahead, finish reading.
Verse 4, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Who can make war with this fourth beast? Can't no one stand in front of us. You better get down or lay down. Do you want to join the United Nations or what? This is what you're going to do. We're going to put our financial system there. You're going to enslave your own people, or we're going to get you out of there and put someone that looks like you to rule over your people with much wicked oppression. Much wicked oppression, and deceive your people and bringing them into the mark of the beast where they can't buy or sell. Where if they have the faith of Christ and they doing law, statute, commandments, then they'll make it through. But if they don't, we do not have time to play. This is about souls. This is about souls. We need everyone to come with us because we know where we're going. Man, but we could probably win the war. Finish reading.
Verse 5, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. Power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
And we not worshiping nothing this fourth beast empire is bringing forth. We don't care about. We're not worried about nothing.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
And they gonna be killed with the sword. They've used the sword. They've taken the Israelites and people into captivity. They got you all in prison houses, giving you poison. They're not giving you nothing righteous. They're not giving you nothing to brainwash you for good. They're brainwashing you for evil. You gotta fight. You gotta really. That's why I say the fear of the Lord is a beginning of wisdom. You gotta fear the Most High. Then you find out the law. You find out how to move out here. Finish reading.
Here is the patience of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
Go ahead, worship this unholy Roman Empire.
Whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Oh, they got more to come. They got more to come. NASA, great wonders. Look at CERN. Look what we could do. Portals. Look at everything that we could do. War. Who? We have the best technology ever. Jump it over to chapter 17.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark of the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Go to chapter 17. That's what they're trying to do. You see the mark of the beast being implemented, getting you with the, what is it called, nanobite vaccines and all this stuff. We don't want no parts. Y'all have a y'all have a history of wickedness, a perpetual hatred. It say you have a perpetual hatred against the sons of Jacob, a perpetual hatred. It's not no new American thing. This is an ancient thing. If our people knew how long they've been doing this stuff, they would want no parts of what they giving. You wouldn't even want they blunts. You need to put all that stuff down they doing. If they giving you something, when they say peace, peace, no destruction's coming. Go to chapter 17 from the top.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
Because they sit on many waters. They everywhere. They got their military bases everywhere. They have their finances everywhere. This isn't just they're spread out. Esau have conquered the whole earth. Bring that out.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
This whole culture is going everywhere throughout the earth. American culture. Out of pocket women. Drugged up men. Hip hop. No law. Do as thou wilt. Homosexuality. All this madness from this empire.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Yeah. And we know the Most High is not dealing with abominations. We're going to get this and then last scripture, King. We in this Wikipedia in this Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty. Liberty enlightening the world is a colossal neoclassical sculpture on Liberty Island in New York Harbor in New York City in the United States. The copper statue, a gift from the people of France, was designed by French sculptor Frederic Auguste Bartholdi, and its metal framework was built by Gustave Eiffel. The statue was dedicated on October 28, 1886. The next year you was coming up out of slavery, right? Or the year before you was coming up out of slavery. This statue is a figure of Lypertus, a robed Roman liberty goddess. What the Romans doing with Babylon? Letting you know what it is. That this is that little horn. That last kingdom to rule. She holds a torch above her head with her right hand, and in her left hand, and carries a tabula ansata inscribed July 4th, 1776 in Roman numerals. The date of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. A broken shackle and chain lie at her feet as she walks toward commemorating the recent national abolition of slavery and its dedication. The statue became an icon of freedom of the United States, seen as a symbol of welcoming immigrants arriving by sea. When they say peace, peace, let's just get Revelation 18, 2 through 4. Big old statue of Ceramicus.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunken of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Because this plague coming to Babylon. All the wicked and evil that's been going on here. So you got your 4 empires, family. You got the first beast, the Babylonian Empire. You have the Persian Empire at number 2. Number 3, you got the Greeks. And then you got the Roman Empire. Number 4, ruling the world. It's prophesied that Christ is coming to destroy their empire. Esau done taken over the world in the name of United Nations and one world order. They done accomplished it. Prophecy is being fulfilled since the book of Genesis. You right there at the end. Our awakening in the last days, that we will come to all this knowledge through all their miseducation, through all our sin that they have laid as stumbling blocks as entertainment. It's golden. Go Daniel 9 and 11.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
Nothing has been done in this earth like has been done to us, family. So it's wake up time. The kingdom is at hand. Repent. Keep these laws. Keep Christ. Get baptized. Anything from you, Lama Wad?
Great lesson.
All right, family. Bless you all. Till next time. Shalom.
And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, Would God it were even, and at even thou shalt say, Would God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord God of Israel, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, saith the Lord. And I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess thee. And I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. At that time will I bring you again, ye